Hello guys, Empower Nerd here, and today we are going to be looking at the 10 mind-blowing discoveries that will blow your mind, I think that's what it said. So let's get started.
Humans are a curious species, and a lot of our technological advancements have come from us sticking our noses in places where we probably shouldn't, whether that's deep in caves, under the water, or even outside our own planet. But sometimes we discover something so unpleasant, we really wish we hadn't looked. Today's list has everything from archaeologists to scientists, and some regular folk who are just going about their business. If you're one of those people who likes peeking under rocks and possibly through the curtains, then we suggest you click subscribe and let the hub satisfy your curiosity. The Screaming Mummy. The late 19th century was mummy o'clock. You couldn't move for ancient Egyptian artifacts as we burst through more tombs than a zombie apocalypse. So in 1886, Gaston Maspero was pretty used to these neatly packaged corpses, but he was still shocked when he unwrapped a mummy we call Man-E. His face had been trapped in a permanent scream, which could not be explained by simple decay or rigor mortis. His sarcophagus was unnamed and simply decorated, so it's unlikely he was anybody important, but he must have come to a pretty nasty end. It suggested that he could have been poisoned or even buried alive, perhaps drugged and then mummified while he slept. Alternatively, maybe they just closed a sarcophagus on his foot. That seems the most likely to me. Roman Fedosov. Roman Fedosov is a Russian deep-sea fisherman from Murmansk, which is right up at the northwest tip next to Finland. From the cold, dark waters of the Barents Sea, which leads to the Arctic Ocean, he pulls up some of the most horrifying creatures you will ever set your eyes on. If you glance at his Twitter feed, you'd think he was either a movie special effects expert or some kind of evil wizard, as there's endless shots of the disgusting alien monsters that he's just casually holding in his hands. The most surprising thing is the variety of different shapes and features. Some have huge pale eyes, others are black all over like he's pulled them out of an oil bath. Did someone order fish and chips? George's Island.
I barely know what any of these are.
George's Island in Canada was used as a rest stop for sailors in the 1800s, as well as the occasional holiday maker, looking to bathe in that famous Canadian sunshine. In 1876, there was a wreck just offshore, and the 5-man crew abandoned the ship and tried to make it to the island, but only one survived. He was found by some fishermen, and he explained that the others hadn't made it when the lifeboat hit the rocks. The survivor left the island and was never seen again. A few weeks later, 3 decapitated bodies were found hidden near the beach, as well as 2 tents and another body that had an axe marks on its skull. The Chase Fault. On a slightly sunnier island, the Caribbean paradise of Barbados, there is an even creepier story from earlier in the same century. The Chase family had a really unlucky streak when their baby Mary died, and her coffin was placed in the vault of the local parish church. A few years after, another daughter, Dorcas Chase, starved herself to death, and so joined her sister down in the vault. This was all too much for the father, who was dead just a month after, so they carried him down to join the others. But when they opened the crypt, they found Mary's coffin standing upright instead of laying on the shelf where it had been left. After that, there were often reports of screams from the tomb, and every time it was reopened, the coffins had all moved, even after the local governor had it sealed fast with concrete. Some families have the weirdest hobbies. Swiss Ming Ring. In 2008, an ancient tomb was opened that had been sealed around 400 years before during the Ming Dynasty. It was mostly full of your usual Ming things, but when they pulled out one coffin, something came loose and what looked like a ring fell out and bounced around. On closer inspection, it turned out to be a tiny gold watch with the word Swiss allegedly engraved on the back. It left a lot of unanswered questions, because unless there was a Swiss time traveler involved in sealing the tomb all those years ago, how had it gotten into the sealed tomb? Of course, the biggest question that no one is asking is, who had such tiny wrists that they would need a watch this size? Isn't that the real mystery? Carlo Castellanos Faria.
I was thinking the same thing.
While the other discoveries on this list might have shocked or surprised people, when Michelle Fredenberg Onion discovered something about Carlo Castellanos Faria, it traumatized her for life. Carlo was a valet at the hospital where Michelle worked. He began stalking her, and one day managed to steal her keys, copy and return them without her ever even noticing they were gone. He snuck into her home and set up a video camera to record her. But, much worse, he also hid under her bed for 2 whole nights. Michelle's boyfriend finally discovered him, along with a stash of condoms, latex gloves, clothes, and a power cord. Makes all those killer under the bed scenes in horror movies seem a bit less ridiculous now. Salish Sea Feet. The space under the bed is famous for being creepy and scary now, but the beach is supposed to be a place of calm and relaxation, unless you have a child, of course. Then it's a never-ending struggle against burning, drowning, and demands for ice cream. At the Salish Sea, which washes up on both Canadian and U.S. shores, almost 20 human feet have been found over a period of 10 years. Most have been right feet, except for 2 lefties, which matched with other right feet, like the most depressing version of Cinderella ever. The causes are not all the same, since a few are from local suicides, but others washed all the way over from the 2004 Asian tsunami. Nova Scotia Massacre. Another Canadian beach now, this time in Nova Scotia. In late 2016, the sands were flooded with every kind of sea creature imaginable. There were seal and starfish, lobsters and herrings, and unless a hungry seagull found a genie in a bottle, we're still unclear on what the cause for this marine genocide was. Some animals had slices in their flesh, so it was suspected that whales or killer whales could have done it. But as the number and variety of animals increased, it seemed unlikely. Other guesses are earthquakes or even an undersea gas bubble that poisoned them all.
It's weird.
Don't lose your head. If you walk around Hollywood, you'll get pretty desensitized to all the movie tourism around you. Terminators line the streets, classic soundtracks blare out of the cafes, and decapitated heads fill the local bushes. Okay, the last one is weird, but Lauren Kornberg did think she'd found a prop when her dog pulled it out from a bush near the Hollywood sign. But really, the head used to be attached to 66-year-old Hervey Medellin. The subsequent investigation went cold for 2 years, until Gabriel Campos Martinez, Medellin's former boyfriend and roommate, was arrested in Texas.
Why did it have to be a Latino? It's not like I have a problem with Latinos, because most of the people in my class are Latinos. But why did it have to be them? Don't do that bad stuff, man. Dang. Look, he was stressed, too, when he did it. He got that red in his eye.
And charged with murder. He had strangled Medellin, sawed him into pieces, and refrigerated them until he buried them. The icing on the cake was finding a search on his laptop reading, "Butcher a human carcass for human consumption. So, don't eat that cake." Tarantula attack.
Whoa.
Quick warning, this one is about spiders, so some of you may want to arachnote past this bit, as if the little devil spawn aren't bad enough with their excess of limbs and sticky butt rope. A newly discovered Caribbean tarantula is even scarier. The Cancumo marquez, named after Nobel Prize winner Gabriel Garcia Marquez, is covered in the most aggressive kinds of hair. Each one has a barb at the end so it gets stuck in your skin or eye, and the sides of the hair are serrated like a knife. Ugh, you're just the worst, spiders. All of these horrible discoveries prove once and for all that no one should ever go anywhere or do anything, because the world is just a terrifying place. So stock up on frozen nuggets and tinned fruit, and just tell your family, friends, and boss that you're traveling. It's just not worth the risk.
Well, guys, that is it for this video. I wish it was longer. My video wasn't really even that long. So just because it's not that long of a video, I'm gonna make another video right after this one. So after I post this one, I'm gonna make another one, and if that's short too, I'm gonna make another one. I might do a reaction of a person doing a reaction, and if a person does a reaction of someone doing a reaction of me. Alright, someone else does a reaction of me doing a reaction of someone else. But no, I'm just gonna do a reaction. So yeah. Like, subscribe, hit post notifications, and yeah, just stay awesome. Stay nerdy. Do whatever you want. Bye, guys.